Kennedy Space Center, July 16, 1969. A NASA space shuttle lifts off, on its way to make history.
Apollo 11.
It took $355 million, 7 years, and a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but no matter the challenge, we made it to the moon many times. But this was our first. That meant that all the technology was new. It was the forefather of the technology that will send a man to Mars.
Let's take a closer look at the different parts of the spacecraft.
The total height of the Saturn V rocket was 110.6 meters. The Apollo spacecraft separated in these parts: the launch escape system, the command module with the access hatch, the service module that contained the maneuvering thrusters and main engine, the lunar module that has the crew cabin, radar sensor, and landing legs. There is also an instrument unit containing a guidance system.
The third stage. It had 252,750 liters of liquid hydrogen, 73,280 liters of liquid oxygen, and a J2 engine.
The second stage had 984,000 liters of liquid hydrogen, 303,000 liters of liquid oxygen, 5 J2 engines, and an interstage ring to provide clearance between stages.
The first stage had 1,204,000 liters of liquid oxygen, 770,000 liters of kerosene, and 5 F1 engines. And that was the Saturn V rocket.
Apollo 11 launched on July 16, 1969 at 9:32 a.m. from Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida.
It was a big deal because it was the first spacecraft that landed on the moon. In order to make this happen, NASA had to create the uncreated and do the undoable.
At least 500 million people were watching when Apollo 11 lifted off. The landing. They landed on the moon on the 5th day of the mission, July 20th, 1969.
When they landed on the moon, they had only 16 seconds of fuel left.
Neil Armstrong was the first to step on the moon, and Buzz Aldrin joined him 20 minutes later.
Although Michael Collins was one of the astronauts, he never set foot on the moon because he stayed behind in Command Module Columbia while orbiting the moon to reconnect to Eagle once it left the moon.
At 11:51 on July 24, 1969, Apollo 11 splashed into the Pacific Ocean, 13 miles from recovery ship USS Hornet and 900 miles west of Hawaii.
During the fiery trip through Earth's atmosphere, Apollo 11 almost got hit by a discarded module. If it had hit them, it would have killed all the astronauts inside.
About the astronauts. Neil Armstrong was an engineer working for NASA before he became an astronaut. He had 2 sons named Mark and Rick, and his daughter had a brain tumor and died of pneumonia at age 2. Her name was Karen. He married twice.
Before he became an astronaut, Buzz Aldrin was an Air Force pilot. He had 3 children, 2 boys named James and Andrew, and 1 girl named Janice. He married 4 times.
Before Michael Collins was an astronaut, he was an Air Force test pilot. He had 3 children, 2 girls named Anne and Kate, and 1 boy named Michael. He married once.
Astronauts working for NASA usually had a base salary of $104,898 per year, although they can increase to about $161,141 per year. About the moon. When Apollo 11 launched, the moon was in its waxing crescent phase. If an astronaut were to take off their helmet, they would be plunged into the negative 455 degrees Fahrenheit of the moon, instantly getting all the air sucked out of their lungs. And within 15 seconds, they would be unconscious due to all the oxygen being used up in their blood. On the moon, astronauts are in danger of these three things: radiation, reduced gravity, and Rigolov.
The technological improvement that came as a result of the space race was huge. Examples include medical imaging tools, durable healthcare equipment, artificial limbs, and water filtration systems.